Okay, I'm all done. We can go live. Alrighty, we're live. Awesome. Hello, everyone. I welcome you all to today's Meshery development meeting. Today is 7th Jan, and Happy New Year, everyone. I think this is our first meeting this New Year 2026. And yeah, great start. So those who are new to today's meeting, just want to share a few things, which is like Meshery is a CNCF Centers project. So if you like to know more about Meshery, do make sure you check out the meshery.io. And since we follow the CNCF code of conduct, we respectful to others. And before we start, I just want to share the couple of housekeeping items, which is make sure you add your names in the attendees list. So I'll share the link in the chat. Uh, just a second. So you can add your name in the attendees list, and also I'll suggest all you to open your webcam. It's a great way to engage with people. So yeah, if you get a chance, we you can open your webcam. And yeah, and the other thing will be like if you like to introduce yourself, if this is your first time joining this mission development meeting, I highly suggest you to open your mic and say hi, give a small introduction, maybe your name, where are you calling from, what took your interest in the Meshery, anything that you would like to share. Anyone who would like to introduce themselves?
Oh, hello Yash. It's not my first meeting, but I would like to introduce myself as we are meeting for first time. I'm Yash Mahakal. I'm from Pune.
Hey, Yash.
Hey, yes,
Thanks for the introduction.
and
Yes. Yeah.
yes,
Yeah, thanks for the introduction. You would like to share
yeah.
anything else, or is it like
No, it's okay. It's fine.
awesome? Thank you. Anyone else?
Hi, this is
Sohani. Yeah, go ahead.
yes. Hi, this is Raja Rathore, and I'm from Delhi. And right now, I'm in my hostel of Delhi College of Engineering. And I am new here, and I don't know much, huh, I contributed latest on Meshery UI, in which we have to. I don't remember. I have done some changes. So there was. When I was submitting the PR, then there was some problems like some tests were failing, and when I tried to fix them, one of them again and again failed. I want to
Hmm.
know
Did you
in detail.
uh, did you share that thing in the Slack? We will cover that. If you are facing any issue, you can add in the last of the today's topic. If we get a time, we will get back to you for that issue. Or you can, I will suggest you reach out with that issue in the Slack, and then we'll go forward with it. Okay.
Okay.
Awesome. Anyone else would like to introduce? Sohani, Prachi, Charan, uh, Elsin. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. Okay. I'll wait for
Hello,
a few more
Yash.
seconds. Hey,
Hi, I'm Suhani, and I have contributed in Meshery from past few weeks, and currently I have contributed to Meshery Linker and trying to contribute and spend time much more on the projects to give my best.
awesome. That's pretty awesome, Sohani. Uh, Anybody else? I'll wait for 5 more seconds before we jump into the our agenda items. I saw a couple of new faces, so just want to say hi. By the way, I'm pretty, I just want to flex myself to all the Delhi people because I know Delhi has the temperature of Delhi right now is pretty cold, and I am in my t-shirts right now. It's Jan, but I'm still in the t-shirt. Just want to flex it. Okay. uh, Anybody else? I want to go ahead and introduce. Awesome. Then I'll jump on the agenda items. So we have couple of announcement. The first one is that this is the first Mystery Dev meeting of the 2026. Hooray! And the second one is on the updated Meshery Playground Sandbox cluster. I'll ask Lee or Abid if anyone else would like to cover this part, or do we have Sankaran?
Yeah, I'll jump in. Actually, if anyone has this community Slack up, there was a brief note on this topic. I think it's in the Meshery channel. I'm gonna go find it. I think there was a note maybe yesterday in the Meshery channel. Yesterday. Okay, could have been the day before. Or yes, here it is. I found it here. I will share this just for the briefest of moments to say in the Meshery channel, there's just a quick update. The Meshery Playground, which hopefully all of you have used previously. If you haven't, I encourage you to go use it. It is the second easiest way to run and use Meshery. And that's because you don't have to run it yourself. It's already running. You can just go sign in and start using Meshery. The nice thing about, and by the way, if anyone's curious as to what the easiest way to run Meshery is, then ask on the discussion forum and I'll tell you. If the nice thing about the playground is that it is connected to a live Kubernetes cluster. So if you've created designs and you want to deploy them, or if you'd like to have Meshery discover what's inside of a cluster and look at and practice what it looks like to operate a cluster, operate workloads on a cluster, you can do so, and you can mess it up because it's just a sandbox cluster, so it gets wiped every night. That has previously been deployed on bare metal servers in the US. It was just a couple of months ago that the resources have been moved around, and so the cluster itself is now running in a completely different location, still in the US. On virtual machines, and they're pretty beefy. And anyway, the point is, during that transition, there had been some disruption to the availability of a sandbox cluster. So the playground had been there continuously and available, and so you could go touch Meshery and play with it, but you couldn't necessarily, but it was having trouble talking to this sandbox cluster. We've talked about this a little bit on this meeting before. The new infrastructure that Meshery Playground is running in is Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, or OCI. And just like, every cloud has its own nuances, so things work a little bit differently in that cloud. So it's a good opportunity for Meshery to harden its support for OCI, which it has. There's been a new Meshery CTL command in support of OCI, actually. Anyway, there were still some residual issues as of earlier this week about how it is that Meshery was talking to that cluster, and that's no more. So there's one thing to note: if you do a deployment of a design in that environment, you might have your deployment rejected unless you're using this namespace to deploy your design into. And this is the only place that this information is published. This is not good to leave it just sitting here and it'll get lost in Slack really quick. There's continued work going on by one of the maintainers to not just have a target namespace, but to have an entire dedicated sandbox cluster, the whole thing. That would just make it really easy, and you wouldn't have to pay attention to what namespace you're deploying into. So hopefully this is just the most temporary of notes. I didn't think about this much until just now. I'm going to put this note. So Kavithika, damn it. No, I always put an extra K in it.
Kavita.
Kavitha has pinned it. Wonderful. and I will just copy paste that sandbox name into the meeting minutes. So it'll be in two places, and hopefully we won't have to have that note around for very long. So that's it.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you, Lee. I think, yeah, do make sure to check it out and try to deploy it. Those who are first time trying Meshery is always a great way to try to create some design and deploy it. Well, yeah, so let's come to the topic part. So we have the release in progress. So Lee, it's on you as again. So do you like to
Oh,
discuss
okay.
it right now? Yeah.
I'll be even more brief, hopefully. It's been 12, 13, almost 14 months since we've had our last significant release. We have intermediate incremental releases pretty frequently. As a matter of fact, we're having one right now. I think it's the 196th release of .8. So we're having 8.196 being released right now. It's been a little over a year since we've had a quote unquote minor release. So we are, I think, feature complete, functionality complete for what we had originally set out to achieve in .9. And part of .9 was preparation and hardening and so we'll talk about some tests, I think, later. I just want to bring this up. I don't know that any of the maintainers or any of the contributors are actively working toward answering this question of release readiness, but we'll need to at some point. We'll have to put our pencils down, no more features, and just documentation and making sure that quality is there. And so with any luck, we'll be talking more and more about this, each time that we meet. So there has been some preparations done. We were trying to finish off .9 and get it out for this last KubeCon. And so a number of maintainers and some contributors had written blog posts on Meshery.io. I think a handful of them were published, and there's a second handful that have yet to be published. I think they just need final review. Those blog posts are helpful because there's just a lot to talk about inside of this release. It's been a year, so there's a lot in there. Yeah, the longer that we go, kind of the harder it is to get the release out because it's just things keep on moving. So the documentation that we have, Meshery docs, they need help. Some of you come to the project and don't. I said I would be brief, so I'll just say this fast. Some of you come to the project and don't understand it, and that's in part because you don't know a lot just yet. And it's also in part because the documentation isn't as good as it could be, or is poor, or isn't concise, or doesn't cover stuff. There's some things undocumented, or there are some things that are documented that's not how it works anymore. Or just the information architecture, like the way that the docs are laid out, maybe it doesn't resonate with you, or it's not flowing. It doesn't kind of make sense to walk through it. All of those things are valid, I think. So we need to make sure that the project, though, that the docs, that it's not the fault of the docs. And right now, half of the fault of people not understanding it is the docs. So anyway, if you're working on any doc related issues or you find them, know that you're working on high priority items, docs. So okay, yeah, that's.
Thank you, Lee. Awesome. So I think there is a .9 issues as well. Just in case if someone want to check it out. Just share the link.
Yeah. Yep, and this one. Yep. Yeah, these are items that have been sort of planned for. It's a little confusing, I think, the way that or just the way that issues get marked up. It's like that list, I think, is we would work on once .9 is released. So I think we've got it kind of backwards. But yeah, we should have another hyperlink in here that lists out all the remaining issues to fix or complete in order to get to. I mean, yeah, the way that this works is, yeah, it's all of those issues are supposed to be fixed for .9. I think it's been a long time since anyone has triaged or like curated that list. So
Yeah, I think we can share on Slack. But the next one is on me about the timing and hosting on the newcomers meeting. So I was just proposing that if Friday works with the same timing, we don't need to change any timing, just the day. If it's just want to fit, fit in the schedule. Otherwise, I think if someone willing to co-host, then I can try to do on Thursday, but I'll not be able to continue it just because it conflict with my other meetings. So that's the only thing. I just want to share that.
yep. So
What works for others?
I'll repeat that. So we've had the newcomers meeting on a weekly basis, or we have the newcomers meeting on a weekly basis on Thursdays. And it's so kind of burned into my brain that it's on Thursdays, but that's just because it was convenient at the time. Any longer, it's not as convenient. And so Yash is he's proposing that to move it by a day. And so I think there's been agreement that we would move it by a day. And Yash will have a heavy hand in organizing, and he's looking for a couple of co-organizers and co-hosts. And but yeah, but he's proposing this. So just in case people have a significant grievance with it being held on Friday, speak now or forever hold your peace.
Just let me know if you have any issues right now. Otherwise, I think Friday should be fine. I hope so.
Yeah, one
Yeah, I'm
thing,
considering. Yeah.
as you facilitate that, Yash, wonderful. One thing that we'll want to do is, and you might even call for some help on this, but like there are many places, just like if you were to scroll up in the meeting minutes, there are many places in our READMEs, in our repos, and some of our web pages that say, join the newcomers meeting on Thursday. That just need to be updated. It's at the top of the meeting minutes. It says it as well. At the top of the page, it says Thursday. So I need to,
Awesome.
I'll look to you to make sure that gets updated. You might call on Ronak and others
Yeah.
to help.
Sure.
Uh,
I'll lead two helps. One is making sure that we update the dates, and the second will be who are willing to work with me to ensure we host the newcomers meeting. I'll make sure to help you answer your questions, and we'll work on it. And hopefully, I will be looking for you to become a co-host one day. So, if you are
Ye-
interested in doing it, feel free to message me on Slack.
Okay. Thank you.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, Ronak, you were saying something? I think.
yeah, I can update all the occurrence of that Thursday to Fridays and all the documents.
Awesome. Thank you. I
Yeah,
think we will also need to just announce it on the Slack so that others are also aware of it.
yeah, sure.
Thank you, Ronak. So next one is on the Parthiv. Uh, do we have a Parthiv on today's call?
Yeah, I am here.
Awesome. Would you like to cover your item? You can share
Yes,
your
yes,
screen.
I will. Okay, so my item is so Lee proposed that we should have a new command which is Meshery CTL registry and then find like it would find for image like it the command is will be used to find the number of CRDs in a OCI image. So already work was going on that. I was collaborating with Marcus. So basically, Marcus did all the main task, and then suggested to refactor that command into a check flag, like registry generate check. So basically I did that on my this PR. I would like to demo the output of the check flag. Basic, so this is the basically what I did. Like I introduced a new flag which is three like check count. It will count the number of CRDs and also it checks also formats the output into JSON and then YAML and or any tabular format. So basically, I would like to show what the output is.
Yeah, do it. Do it. You like skip, jump, dump. You didn't or hey, some feedback. Don't be long-winded like me. Just jump in and show the thing. And when you do, you've yet to say what the purpose of this functionality is. You've explained that I've been
Yeah,
involved, Marcus has been involved, you've been involved, it's been refactored, but what? So what are you showing?
yeah. So like this function, like let me show it. So basically, this is the command. You can see that Meshery CTL registry generate check, and this is the name of the image basically that we are passing in. So checks in without generating the image, we can like know what are how many CRDs are present. CRD mean custom resource definition. So we can without generating the model from the image, we can know preview. We can say it is like a preview. We can know how many CRDs are present or if there is any CRD present or not. And then we can also get the format in output in different formats like JSON or YAML. So this is like a valid CRD or CI image, and the output is like this. It takes some time basically because it downloads the image to the disk and then outputs it. So scanning OCR image and it takes some time and you can see that I just discovered 15 CRDs and these are the names of the all the CRDs present in the OCI image. And we can also, if there are no CRDs, like there was an edge case where it has valid YAML files, but they were not CRDs. So in that case, there was no output basically. It was command was like hanging in the middle and it was not returning anything. So now it can actually show that there are no CRDs. Like this is a image docker.io bitnami charge. This is a OCI image, but it has YAML files. Like all CRDs are YAML files, but these are not valid CRDs. These are other YAML
Okay.
files, not
Yep. Got it. Got it. Understood. Yeah. I mean, makes sense.
so.
If there's no CRDs, then good, you handle that case.
Yeah,
There's a
so
count flag.
yes, count. Yes, you can also use count. Like this is the count flag, and it will basically show like there are zero CRDs present, found
Okay.
zero
Great.
CRDs in the image.
Got it. And so good. Anything else? Any other functionality here?
Yeah, we can also like use different formats. Like this is the format JSON.
For what?
It basically outputs uh, I mean, it gives the information in a JSON format. You see, like it
What's
needs.
the other format?
There is also a YAML format.
And the other one is,
YAML basically. Let me show.
and the other one is tabular, right? The default
Yes,
is
tabular
tabular.
form. Yeah, the default
Okay.
is tabular.
Great. Good. Good.
Yes,
And so
yes.
anything else, Parthiv?
Yes, I have like a suggestion. Basically, can we like catch this output? Like if I run this one in
Cache
JSON
it
and yes, like
for
catch
what?
the last. Like if I just run JSON now,
No,
then
no. Why? I mean, you can argue with me. Go ahead. Why would you want to cache it?
because like let's say if I need the
Yeah.
JSON
But
output,
no,
then
before we
I
get into advanced things like caching, which is just going to cause a problem as well as potentially help, is to figure out if we actually want the functionality in the first place. So do we? Why do we want it, Parthiv?
I think we can use it like before the generate command in
Yep.
Like,
How do we refer to, what do we generate with the generate command? Models. I'm going to hurry us through this and answer some of these questions. We generate models. And how are you referring to a potential model? You refer to a model by name. And in the check command that's being used as it is right now, it's not referring to the model by name. And so that's confusing. It's a different piece of functionality than it can be a pre-flight check. It can be a check. This one was intended to be a search. Like if you were to go to an OCI registry, and you wanted to know, hey, what all images out here, what all repos in this registry have images that contain CRDs, and let me search for those, or let me do what you had said is like, I've got one. Let me check to see if it has CRDs. This is a helpful utility. Good.
yes.
It is, and so none of this feedback that I'm offering is directed at you. This is not your, if any of this is a miss, it's not your miss. It's my miss for not having figured out that maybe this functionality is helpful, but it shouldn't be over here in this command. It needs to be a new command, or if it is in this command, how does it make sense in accordance with the rest of how the command is already structured? So that feedback about model name, that's my miss. Like I didn't describe that as being something that how people use the command. Other people might have feedback, some thoughts to help Parthiv land this. So actually, just because I think this happens to everybody and it happens to me as well, I'm going to re-articulate why the heck it is that Parthiv is working on this. In Parthiv, what you've shown, that looks great. You know, like you, mission accomplished, you know, you did the thing. So, but why are we working on this? Okay, well, or what's the use case for it? All right, well, for the Meshery CTL registry generate command, the registry command is to interact with Meshery's internal database, has an internal database of all of the models that people have registered in that running instance of Meshery. Each model describes infrastructure to a very granular degree. So Meshery can configure that infrastructure, characterize it, and operate it, manage that infrastructure. The more models you have inside of a Meshery server, the broader variety of infrastructure Meshery can manage. As it turns out, it's not just infrastructure that Meshery can manage. Like when you register a model, the components inside the model can describe other things other than just infrastructure. Eventually, you'll be describing features or functionality like a performance test. If you have a performance profile, you might characterize that inside of a model. If you have like Grafana or dashboards or Prometheus alerts, you might capture those inside of a model as well. Eventually, you can package in a monitoring profile for your application or a workflow steps inside of your model. There's a lot that can be put into this transportable piece of infrastructure description, or it's a capability is how we usually refer to a model. It captures capabilities. It's Meshery's internal registry, this model registry. We've often referred to it as a capabilities registry. So what all things is Meshery capable of doing? And there are different registrants, different tools that it might be a Meshery adapter, or it might be GitHub, or it might be a person that registers these models inside of Meshery. Anyway, let me not describe all of how it works. I guess what I'm trying to give you is context and background for what the command is about, what the registry is about, because this is the registry command. Okay, good. There are other related commands, a model command, I think a component command as well. They're related to this, but this Meshery CTL registry, right now, and people in the past, like Matthew and some others, and maybe Hussein and others, they've rightfully questioned, like what's the difference between this registry command and the model command? That's another discussion. You know, it's a discussion that we should have. I'm just bringing up the CLI here just to let you look at something other than my face, maybe, while we're looking at this. Meshery CTL registry. All right, so this is great. There's a little bit of a later version right here, the new release. I don't know that there's anything that looks like it's changed. But so this generate command is what Parthiv was just looking at. He was looking at adding a flag called check. The use case for that check was, as it's implemented right now, it's to say, well, I have a source. And right now, Parthiv, this is the other issue, is that the source that the check flag supports the interrogation of and like finding out whether or not there's a custom resource definition inside of it is just an OCI image. And that's wonderful. Meshery can read from OCI images and pull. The OCI image might be inside of a container registry. That's a container registry becomes a type of registrant, a source from which Meshery can find models and create models. Right now, Meshery also supports Artifact Hub and GitHub as two other types of registrants, like two other sources from which to pull in like Helm charts or to pull in GitHub repos and search for CRDs. Like this command, this generate command, its mission historically has been take the command, point it to a Helm chart, or point it to a particular folder, particular directory inside of a GitHub repo where CRDs live, these custom resource definitions. Find them, pull them back, wrap them up with some metadata, convert them into a component that Meshery natively understands. That's been the mission of the generate command. So every night there's a workflow that runs the generate command and it goes across almost 300 models. So about 3,000 something components. So like almost 300 different Helm charts or Helm repositories or OCI or GitHub repos. And so this thing about the check command, Parthiv, only working for OCI image for container registries, like it's orthogonal and a little bit at odds with Meshery's current set of supported registrants. I'm running out of breath. So, Abid, do you want to add something?
Yeah, so I was actually going to say the same thing. So like this, like the logic for the check command shouldn't be anything separate because we already have the logic for importing or generating models from OCI image. So and like for Helm charts and other things. So we should basically just hook into the same logic. And so basically like the only thing that's omitted from the regular generate check is basically like writing to disk or actually creating the model. So basically we need to go through the couple of things from the pipeline and after that just show them a preview and not write to the disk. So we just reuse the same logic and just kind of skip basically the last step of the pipeline while we write back things to the disk. But yeah, basically just reusing the same. So then there's no need for a separate logic for this, like the pulling from Docker or any container registry and then checking the tar.gz or anything. That logic already exists, and we should just hook into that. And in that, we would also support all of the existing registrants and all of the existing sources for models. So this doesn't become special and kind of also becomes more featureful.
Thank you, Abid. I hope it is helpful, Parthiv and everyone.
Yes.
Yeah, awesome. Anything else? Anyone else like to cover? I'll share this screen. Right. Here you go. Okay, next is Lee, but Lee already talked a lot, so I will give him a rest for 5 more minutes. Abid, would you like to go next? And we'll come back to Lee later.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm going to talk about a bit with our recent change with the testing. So I think like a couple of calls before this, we talked about new tests being written for relationships and for some other areas of Meshery. So now there is a centralized reporting platform where we can see all of the results of all of the tests and test suites for Meshery. So if you go to qa.meshery.io, you would see a dashboard like this. So this is basically like the overview of all of the tests that we run for Meshery and also like the other extensions, so they can also report on this centralized platform. So right now you can see this is kind of the overview of the tests for Meshery. We are on 79% are kind of passing, and so basically like 4 tests are failing for Meshery, and then there are some other platforms that are reporting. So these are extensions. So there's the remote provider that you sometimes use the layer 5 cloud to persist your data. So that's also working. So there are, I think all of the tests for this one are working and only 2 are skipped. So there's one thing to note how it gets reported. So it also like kind of excludes the number of skipped tests to the whole percentage. So that's why it's saying 98 rather than 100. But yeah, all of the tests are passing, and this is kind of the indication that all of them are passing. So if all tests pass, then it's passed. Otherwise, it's failed. So yeah, for the extensions, all of the tests are passing. But yeah, for Meshery, couple of tests are failing, and I think the next item is basically about those failing tests. But yeah, first any questions on this?
Is this reporting just the outcome of Golang integration tests or
No,
unit
so
tests?
yeah, like this basically reports all kinds of tests. So there are reporters kind of for different language. So right now for Meshery, I think this is just the playwright tests right now that are getting reported. So you can actually check if you go to some tests, you might see what kind of technology is using. So yeah, this is the playwright. These are the playwright tests or the end-to-end tests. But yeah, this also supports like reporting from Golang and other tests. So actually for this remote provider, these are mostly all of the Golang unit and integration tests. So yeah, basically we would also report our meshes, other kinds of tests here. So these are the Golang tests. So yeah, this supports the Golang and JavaScript tests.
Nice. Is there, I don't know if I'm using the right terminology, but is there a plugin or is there potential support for bats and maybe the outcome of some of those tests?
Yes, actually, yeah, there isn't an official plugin for bats, but yeah, I have a PR which kind of integrates the bat system. So there is a simple script that basically converts the output from bats to the reporting platform. So the reporting technology that we use is called Allure. So yeah, there's a small script written in here which converts these tests to. So yeah, basically just 128 lines, but yeah, this converts them to support this platform. So yeah, there is a PR open, so we'll have Meshy CTL tests also. But yeah, I think for Meshy CTL we also use like Golang unit tests. I think so. Yeah, those would be also reported. So yeah, actually there's I think an example for that. So yeah, so this seems just locally reporting. But yeah, I just ran a local test for Meshy CTL end-to-end, and these are now written using bats. So sorry, reported from bats. Yeah.
For okay, this is from bat or it's Golang one?
Yeah, these ones are the bats tests. Yeah.
Okay, good, nice.
So any other questions?
We need Ian's help. We there's a bunch of questions to be asked about this sort of a thing and how it gets used and how it
Yeah.
is truly helpful or if it's just
Yeah.
sort of another exercise. Some of those questions are things like, well, we just discussed the fact that it's been a long time since we've gotten
Yeah.
a minor release of Meshery out. And, you know, in order to get a release out, you want to make sure that it has a certain level of quality. And it isn't just that you want that quality right here and now as a snapshot in time, like, are all the tests passing? They are. Okay, you can release. It's a bit, as you mature a little bit, the question becomes more like, oh, over the last 2 weeks or 4 weeks, has there been a trend of like, of the number of issues open and the priority of those issues being, you know, lesser and lesser? Have we had regressions? And so you want a percentage, or you want some like sliding window of time for how healthy you've been, how stable it has been, and that becomes your gate. You're gating your quality gate for whether or not a release, should be made. And so part of the questions here is like history and like configurability. It looks like so there's a couple of reasons why we need Ian if he's inclined to do this, or if he's not, someone else, but he's shown a particular aptitude towards using your brain. It's what he does, which is like, so you can assign tags in here. Okay. Like I see some of the metadata, some of that can be provided or is customizable. Some of the concerns that, how you'd use the data and understand it is like, well, what components are under test? So sure, there's Meshery CTL and server and UI. What types of tests have been run against those components? We don't have to have 100% coverage of all components of all different ways, but just an understanding of what that coverage is, what type of tests are being done for the various components, whatever that is, but just to have to understand it, to be able to wrap our arms around it and say 83.61, wow, that's amazing. I can't believe that. That's phenomenal. Or to say, wow, that's terrible. I can't believe we're this poor, because right now it's just and so the framework that's in place, this is wonderful because, we can take outcomes of the different frameworks that we're using, Golang unit test, integration test, Playwright end-to-end tests, BATS end-to-end tests, Jest, and aggregate them, and coalesce them. But now it's, and some amount of sense has been made of them, some amount, but this is quite a nascent or a very new, effort. And so, what, looks like there could be any number of graphs. Like which one is like the one, or which 2 or 3 or 5, or and for those that are working on a particular component, like, is there a view where they could just go check out that component, or for, and so that's why, like, we need an owner or somebody that, or 2 people or 3, but ideally 1. Any number of people can participate, but somebody to,
Hey there, I had a question.
yeah.
What does this run on? I assume like we're gonna maintain this. I have experience with Prometheus and Grafana. What does the backend of this look like?
Yeah, so for this one, this is basically a static report. So for all of those test runners that were like Playwright, Just, Bats, all of those, they generate the report, and that report is generated in a special format that this program basically consumes. And after that, it consumes those reports. It basically generates a bunch of HTML files, and a static site is published. So right now, there's no backend behind it, but yeah, the technology that's used is called Allure. So yeah, I think you can go here. But yeah, this is a static site, so there's no backend that runs it. So it's a static report that gets generated in HTML.
Okay, I appreciate that.
Yeah. So yeah,
I
like
think I'd
whenever
like to take
some
a
new
look.
tests are merged to master, this site basically regenerates and republishes the results. Yeah, I think you had a question.
That was very helpful. Thank you. I think I'd like to take a look. Maybe I'd be able to help. Like I said, I have experience with Prometheus and Grafana, and the way that works is like you set up what you want to track. Maybe this works a similar way, and maybe I can lend a hand here. If you wouldn't mind, I'd like to link up with you after so you can further explain it to me. Appreciate that.
I think I can like if you take a look into this, and after that, if you have any questions, shall report like
Sure, that sounds
asking
good.
back.
That sounds good too.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Can you set up any reporting on if a percentage is like dropping below a certain threshold with that, or is it static? It's just a reporting tool.
Yeah. Right now, there is no way to kind of alert or anything like that. Yeah.
Yeah, so the built-in yellow and green and red, those are that's just like built-in numbers, or there hasn't been much customization done on the dashboards. There's been a little, there's no, but yeah, that's exactly, somebody needs to make up the rules, you know, and
Yeah, so yeah, I think the rules are pretty aggressive. Like even if there is just one failing test, so yeah, it becomes red. Yeah.
But it allows for you to set up like an alert based on generic rule, like say 70% or it dropped below a certain threshold. You can send out a notification to.
Nothing like for like alerts. I think that probably is not supported, but yeah, like some amount of customization support, like how we report it, like for the kind of how we are going to report that is support to be customized. But I don't think there is any support for like alerting. But I'm not sure. Like maybe we might, if we want, we can kind of build on top of it because we would get the reports and then basically we might just trigger a workflow or something. But yeah, I think built into this, there's no alerting. But yeah, I think you might take a look at the thing in case there is, because I'm not read it end to end.
Is there any? I know the reports are maybe different. Is there any interaction, like the UI is failing, and then you can also derive information from maybe the back end issues, and the UI is just a consequence of it. Is there any interaction between those numbers that this report, or is it just scrape these files? They're all independent. Shoot it to a dashboard.
Yeah, so yeah, right now, like all of the reports are kind of independent. So it basically just consumes all of the reports and generates. But what it does support is like kind of how we are going to format the reports. So yeah, inside like there's a new repo called QA. So in here kind of there's one point of customization or like why we basically add settings to this like allure.mj. So this is their configuration file. So yeah, here we can basically generate these different reports. So yeah, and based on like adding different tags and labels to the individual tests, we can basically kind of filter them or aggregate them and then show them inside a specific report. So yeah, this kind of how we show just the test for Meshery. So it just filters based on project. But yeah, we can then also filter on other things like the severities or like the duration or the type of the test. So yeah, like basically like anything we add to the label sets, yeah, it's possible to filter on that and generate a different report. And also then it supports like having separate sets of charts. So yeah, I think this one is disabled, but yeah, kind of if you have a separate report and which kind of charts you want to have and what data you want to show inside that chart.
something that would be illuminating, that would fully answer Ian's question, that would be illuminating is, while this tool is largely an amalgamation, a dashboarding, charting, data massaging tool, while that's largely its focus, it supports a bunch of different technical frameworks, Cypress and Cucumber and Mocha and Jest and NUnit and PHP Unit and Playwright and blah, blah. And if you show him an example of the level of support of something like Playwright, part of what Ian had asked, it's a yes answer to, which is, oh, if Playwright captured a screenshot or a video or like basically the Playwright test trace, it's displayed here. And so there is a little bit of system integration. Like that's probably a bigger word than what Allure would use to describe their functionality. Like it doesn't actively touch any of the running systems, or like if you want to restart that test, I don't know. Maybe. I mean, I don't know very much about the framework, but I haven't seen that it does that. I have seen that it'll take and interpret Playwright traces.
Yeah.
Show you the video, let you play it from here. And so that's highly convenient. Ian, so this is like, it's like a partial yes. It doesn't. I think if it had a retry or something, that would be right, even better. I'm sure that if the Allure folks were here, they would be like, oh, but yeah, you can customize it to include a hyperlink to your staging environment, so you can go click over there to go see it, or like, I'm not sure what else.
I think right now like the kind of the support kind of depends on the framework. So yeah, I think like for Playwright and like some of the other like famous like Jest and other. Yeah, there's I think kind of a first class support. So yeah, it gives you all of the traces and everything that basically playwright would give. And then there's also the raw playwright trace, and it basically also gives you a video and the history and other things. But yeah.
Does it show you like what commit you're on or what commit the snapshot is taken from?
Yes. Sorry, I couldn't hear. I think your voice broke.
Or like
Yeah,
you just have to like sorry, my service might be a little bit bad. Is there a way to check what commit you're on or like where you're at in the history of master?
Yes, so yeah, I think right now, like all of the tests that are reported here are directly from master. So we don't report the tests that are run on individual peer. So yeah, whenever the tests are run against the master, yeah, this only reports them. But yeah, I think there is some support because like it supports different environments and like yeah. So if we add that kind of metadata to the test, yeah, I think it can support them which environment it was run, what was the runner, and what was the build version, and yeah, I think all those things are supported. We just need to kind of give it that information, and that kind of is done through basically like adding more labels to the test. So you can add global labels to the test to say like basically through environment variables to say like this is the test suite, this is the version, this is the build commit, this is the runner. Some of that is auto detected, so that's why it shows the GitHub and other stuff. So it does auto detect some of it, but yeah, anything additional can be provided through labels.
A final thought might be, I'll propose that the repo that this is in, the QA repo, please consider maybe that we would move it from Meshery Extensions organization to Meshery. And just like certainly any extension is encouraged, like as part of being a Meshery extension, if that extension is producing tests results, they would be encouraged to have their own dashboard, each individual plugin, each individual extension.
Yeah.
But yeah, that maybe this belongs in Meshery org.
Yeah, I think I agree to that.
Yeah. Abid, anything else you like to cover?
No, I think that's mostly it. But yeah, I think just one quick thing regarding like the failing tests inside here. So I think a couple of these have been like failing forever, so we might skip them or try to fix them. And for the ones that are related to relationships, these are not actually like flaky. These are also failing for valid reasons. Some of I think the two relationships that's failing is the service account relationship. So they are not actually working. So that's why the test is failing. So yeah, I'll take a look at that. But yeah, like for these the brokenness, yeah, I think some of these are basically because they are flaky, yeah, so we might either fix them or skip them.
Okay. Thank you for sharing. I'll share my screen. Okay, awesome. Okay, we cover Abid, and now I think Lee, we already got this part of your overall Meshery registry generated. Just in case if there is anything else you like to cover.
Only it's hard to believe, but it is actually different. Although to your point, I've spoken enough. Matthew and Husseina and Parthiv and other people may or may not like this. It is slightly different in its output. Like Parthiv showed this nice tabular columns in the output of the check command. This is, I mean, the generate command it's kind of its own, it's a little bit of its own beast because it goes through 300 models and stuff. So the formatting is slightly different. In terms of UX consistency, maybe people have feedback, maybe they don't like the way that it's formatted. I went ahead and after some reviews, I merged this in, but that doesn't mean that we can't completely change it. It does fix a few things and it does make the command work, and not there wasn't even a timeout. Like if it couldn't, yeah, anyway, it would sit there perpetually run and never complete. So we're in a better place with this being merged. But if people don't like, but I wanted to say the merging of it is slightly rushed. Not everybody got to get a chance to get their comments in. And so that just because it's merged doesn't mean it's the final. So. And yeah, so change it at will. Or I'd also mention like there's room for a discussion, or there's room at least for clarification between registry command, model command, and how to help people either be comfortable with the idea that there's some overlap and there's some shared capability, or not. Like, let's stop doing that and switch it right on. Like, so.
Thank you, Lee. I just shared the link of the PR in the comments just in case anyone want to check out or have feedback for Lee. So, yeah. Okay, thank you, Lee. I think that one we covered. Now two items are on you again.
Yeah, we're good. Abid hit him, so we're good.
Yeah, okay. Ronak, I think skip auto commit for fork-based PRs in Rego, lint, and test workflow.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a quick one. So can you just go to the failing step? So this is the Rego lint and test workflow. And it was failing because we are trying to commit. So when the checkout action runs, it checks out the PR merge commit, not the local branch. So I just removed the branch thing over here in the GitHub auto commit action so that it automatically commits to the PR merge commit. And we are also having a check to not do any commit or any comment on the PR on a fork based PR because GitHub doesn't provide any write token, write permissions when the pull request is from fork. So one thing over here is if we want to commit on a PR, so we need to use the event pull request target rather than the pull request event to get the necessary permissions. And the workflow is currently passing. So I just added a check over here.
Okay, just to like, I think only one question. So, like, is this the same thing that we do for other workflows? Because we have, I think, lots of workflows that auto commit on peer. So maybe if you just see if this is consistent, but it's what we did for those.
Yeah, I would check that. So this workflow will run fine when we are running from the master branch because there we have the permissions. But from the fork based, we just tend to skip that. I will just check if we are what we are doing in other workflows in fork based PRs. Yeah.
That's okay to like skip for the folks.
Yeah.
Anything else you like to cover, Ronak?
That's all for me. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Abid and Ronak. And the second one, the other one is from the Raja. On as a newbie, how should we contribute in the Meshery? I have my first PR. Awesome, man. I think this part of the question we will try to cover in the Friday meeting, the newcomers meeting. Feel free to ask that question in there, and we'll try to cover it. And if this PR is in the Meshery, let's see. Get like add Redis configuration sample. Would you like to cover it? Would you like to cover this one? I think he's not here. Not here.
Okay. I think this is just a sample design.
Okay. So we'll move forward. So we have fix related blocks, sidecar, slider responsiveness. Is it related to a website or?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah. So Epipave, I hope I'm pronouncing it right, Daniel. We can cover this part of the question in the. So we have a separate meetings for websites which held on Monday, and I think this is a great topic to discuss there. And just in case if you have any, since we are running out of time, we'll try to, I'll request you if you can raise this fix in the website meeting. Would be really, really nice. So for now, we'll move forward, but feel free to make sure we discuss it on the Slack and in the website meeting. Okay, since we are running out of time, I'll skip the other items right now, but I'll ask if there is anything critical that we should discuss, then we can hold on. But if not, then we can wrap up the today's meeting. So I'll wait for 5 more seconds in case if anyone have any urgent item or critical item want to discuss. Awesome. Okay, since there is no item, I'm considering okay, we can cover these rest of the items in the next meeting. Thank you everyone for joining us today. Happy New Year again, and nice to see you all in 2026. Hope this 2026 will be good for everyone. And enjoy your day, enjoy your cold, get some soup and get some tea, coffee, or whatever you want. Okay, see you next week. Bye. See ya.
See you. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. See you.